Hey, what's going on, gang? Nate on the Stone here. Welcome back to my channel and to the 69th episode of The Rolling Stone. I know that the last couple of weeks it's been kind of choppy here on the channel. Our regular On the Stone videos have been, unfortunately, kind of consistently been uploaded to YouTube on Wednesdays instead of Tuesday like they should be. And the last 2 weeks they have actually been uploaded on Thursday, 2 days late instead of 1 day late when they are uploaded at all. As you know, 2 weeks ago we actually didn't have a regular On the Stone video, or actually 3 weeks ago, excuse me. And on top of that, our On the Stone videos, our Rolling Stone videos, I should say, have been getting uploaded at weird times. Last week, 2 were uploaded on Saturday, 1 was then uploaded on Sunday. All I can say is mea culpa. I have a new work schedule, and it has been a bit of a challenge to adjust my schedule to research the videos, shoot them, convert the files, edit them, and get them uploaded on time. So right now, hopefully with this video, with this edition of The Rolling Stone, hopefully this will be, fingers crossed, a relaunching, a realigning as it were, so that everything starts becoming as professional as it should be, because that's what all of you guys deserve. So with all of that house cleaning out of the way, we have to first talk about the big news of the week, which is Joe Biden, or more accurately, the Biden campaign, choosing Senator Kamala Harris as Biden's VP nominee. And I say the Biden campaign and not Joe Biden himself, because if you've watched Joe Biden really any time this year, it's pretty clear that poor Joe is on the way out upstairs. He is, I mean, people make light of it, people kind of make fun of it, but it is genuinely sad, A, to see a man mentally disintegrate in front of our eyes, and then 2, that sadness is compounded when you realize that people are still pushing him in front of the camera. They are still saying, no, Joe, you've got this, you're the best that's ever been, baby, go out and just kill him, win this election for us. When what they should be doing is actually taking care of him, because the man obviously needs help and care, and he just needs to retire for his own well-being and for ultimately really the well-being of his family. But that's not going to happen. The campaign is continuing, so the campaign decided that Kamala Harris was going to be Joe Biden's vice president. And the left and the right has reacted to all of this as you would expect. The left has gone all out now in saying, oh my gosh, what a historic moment this is. I mean, look at Kamala Harris. She's a woman, or in the parlance of the day, she identifies as a woman. She's a woman of color. She comes from immigrant families on both sides. Her mom is Indian, subcontinent, and her dad was Jamaican. Ironically, on her dad's side, she is descended from slave owners. Not slaves, slave owners. So you have the descendant of slave owners saying that everyone needs to pay reparations for slavery. I mean, it gets bizarre. And on the right, the habit that I've been seeing is to trot out all of the skeletons that are in Harris's closet. So the fact that she was, if she herself was not corrupt, then her office was certainly as dirty as hell when she was the district attorney for San Francisco. It's also been brought up that she was one of the lead inquisitors during Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation process in the Senate. And then it has also been pointed out that she is one of the most radical abortion defenders in politics today. Not just in Congress, not just in the federal government, but anywhere. She is actually, Kamala Harris is the sort of woman who wants all bills, on the state level that deal with abortion or life to be overseen by the government before abortion bills, before pro-life bills. So, for example, before a heartbeat bill could be enforced in the state where the legislature passed it and the governor signed it, Kamala Harris wants that bill to actually be subjugated to government oversight with the final decision of whether that state law will go into effect or not. That is how radical she is. I think, however, that the most fascinating thing about the campaign picking Harris among all of the other potential possibilities that were out there, because it was also the rumors were swirling around that perhaps Joe Biden was going to choose Susan Rice, who was also an old henchwoman in President Obama's administration. There was also talk about Stacey Abrams being chosen for the number 2 spot, who famously ran for governor of Georgia, and then who still has actually, I believe, has not conceded defeat, saying that the Republican governor of Georgia is only the governor because he cheated his way into office. So all of these people were in the run-up, but the campaign chose Harris. And I think that why I think that this is fascinating is because of what it shows, which might not exactly be what you would think. But it's this. The Democrat Party, as we know it, is on the way out. It is basically kaput. And furthermore, the party knows it. Whereas 12 years ago, when you could pretty much say the left, progressivism, the Democrat Party interchangeably, now you have to start actually separating them again, because the Democrat Party is no longer immediately and perfectly identifiable with the left. They have actually split. And the reason is because of this. They realize now, the party and the Biden campaign realizes now that they made a crucial, fundamental, arrogant error back in 2008 when Barack Obama was first running for president. To my mind, at least, and please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but to my mind, that was the first time that intersectionality, critical theory, what today we call wokeness, was really injected into mainstream society. Those things had been in existence, but they had stayed mostly within the orbit of academia, maybe in entertainment, behind the curtain of entertainment. It was starting a bit to make an appearance in the mainstream culture, into mainstream society, but the Obama campaign, the first one in 2008, was really the first time that we got it full blast. Because the fact that he was half black meant that he automatically was the best candidate to win the presidency. We saw it again when Trayvon Martin and Michael Brown were shot, and either President Obama or high-ranking people in his administration, like Attorney General Eric Holder, immediately started saying, heavily implying, I should say, they were very clever about it, heavily implying that their deaths were more evidence of black oppression in America, that black Americans still were not equal citizens, that America still had a long way to go to make up and to finally confront its original sin of slavery. And there was one of the most famous examples, ironically, provided by Joe Biden in the 2012 campaign, when he told a crowd of predominantly black Democrat voters, I believe, that Republicans wanted to put them all back in chains, which was, in 2012, that was seen as highly offensive, and my God, you just don't do those sort of things in a presidential campaign. You don't act like that, you don't talk like that. Now, that's just par for the course. And the Democrat Party went full out with this wokeness because they believe, this is where the arrogance comes in. They believed that they could make their voters, their supporters, their followers into woke berserkers, and that they could turn on that berserker mode on or off whenever they wanted, and then they could direct their shock troops, as it were, their berserkers, in whatever direction they wanted, which would coast them to electoral victory whenever and however they wanted. That was the plan. What they did not remember, what they failed to account for because of the arrogance, is that the monster never is able to be controlled. Once you let the genie out of the bottle, he can't be put back in. And once you set the monster loose, you can't control it. And this summer, we have seen the proof of that fact. The riots that are continuing in Seattle, in Portland, Minneapolis, St. Louis, Omaha, New York, Los Angeles, California, Kansas City, Atlanta. We are seeing now that the Democrat Party, and really the left in general, the mainstream left, I should say, is utterly incapable of controlling the mob. The mob is now in charge. When they burned down a Wendy's in retaliation for that one man in Atlanta being shot, Rayshard Brooks, I believe his name was, if I'm remembering correctly, you know that the party is not in control. When forget Democrat, the progressive leftist mayors of Portland and Minneapolis are actually booed by the mob and are forced to leave where the mob has congregated because the mob doesn't want to look at them anymore, doesn't want to listen to them. You know that the mob has taken control. And everyone in the Democrat Party, everyone in the Biden campaign knows this to be true. And this is where Kamala Harris comes in, because what the Biden campaign is trying to do, their hope for victory is to appease as many factions as possible. So on the one hand, they can go to the mob and they can flout Harris's intersectionality, the fact that she is a immigrant woman of color. And oh my gosh, what a historic moment. Aren't you happy? Doesn't this appease you? At the same time, all the people who are not part of the mob, but who are liberals, maybe mainline progressives, we would call them today, maybe they're still registered Democrats, but who are not too keen on every night hearing about another riot in Portland or another autonomous zone trying to be created, or another, like the Magnificent Mile, another store on the Magnificent Mile in Chicago being looted. The Biden campaign can go to those people and tout Harris's time as San Francisco's district attorney, thereby giving the veneer, the illusion that a Biden-Harris administration, they are for law and order. They are going to be tough on crime. See, the Trump administration and its stormtroopers, to quote Nancy Pelosi's description of them, they don't know how to handle these riots. They are inhuman, fascist, authoritarian monsters. A Biden-Harris campaign, on the other hand, and a Biden-Harris administration, even more importantly, they know how to work with people. They know how to calm people down. They know how to work with people. They will go into these cities. They will, calm the mob down. They'll clean up everything. All the violence, all the chaos will be over. Those are the selling points that they're doing. That's what the campaign is doing. That's the only way that Harris makes sense. Her choice as VP makes sense. And to wrap up this video, this edition, this episode, this part of the Rolling Stone episode, I would just say that we should not make the classic mistake that the right does in underestimating Harris. I saw an Instagram post a few days ago by Graham Allen, who is part of the Blaze TV, and he was saying that basically Donald Trump has already won the election because Biden picked the absolutely worst person he could in Harris to be his VP. So, election's over. Trump has it in the bag. Picking Harris was the most stupid thing that Biden could do. It's all over. Victory is inevitable. Au contraire, if we have learned anything in 2020, it's anything can happen and it will happen, and we should therefore expect the unexpected. Furthermore, as Joseph Sciambra, who is a cultural commentator, you guys should really follow him on Instagram and Facebook. He said he lives in California, outside of San Francisco, and he has had at least one interaction with Kamala Harris at some fundraiser. And Sciambra was saying that she is actually very intelligent, she's very clever, and unlike Nancy Pelosi, she can actually seem personable. She can seem like a human being, whereas Pelosi always comes across as, I don't know, some sort of a cross between the Wicked Witch of the West and an evil stepmother from Cinderella or some other similar fairy tale. Harris can actually pretend to be nurturing, to be caring, to be sympathetic. That's a very dangerous combination, and you underestimate that at your own peril. That is story number one.